Good morning, welcome. Today's just a little impromptu video, and well, we'll wait to open that. Let me start off. My name's Angela Davis, and I'm the flooring quilter. Welcome. And this morning, I was picking up my sewing room a little bit because after a big project, it gets messy. And I was moving my button containers around, and I was thinking about buttons and what is it about buttons that we're attracted to? It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter if they have, rhinestones on them or if they're plain colored plastic. We're all attracted to the button box. And I started thinking about that for a little bit. And let me first show you what I have. I have this jar, which is a decorative jar, and all the buttons in this, they're pretty much all the same. Off-white plastic with 4 holes. And that's a beautiful, even the top of the lid is decorated, is that raised glass. I just love the jar. This one is a Depression era blue that belonged to my grandmother. I have a few of these jars, and I'm going to pass them down to my kids. And this one just has a variety of buttons in it. Just different colors, different sizes, plastic. I think there's a little bit of some wood ones in there. There's a wood one right there. And then there's this tin. Look at that. Isn't that great? I found this at I think a thrift store. Probably. But when I saw it, I just said, seriously, I have to have that. And this one has, can you see that? A lot more buttons in it. And look at that one. That's great. Look at this one. And there's just something. My girls and I can sit and go through the button box for an hour, and it's so much fun. And I thought, and I thought, I can't be the only one, that's nostalgic about the button box or the button jar that our mother had or our grandmother had or our aunt had or the neighbor had. And I'll never forget the time, oh, look at that one. One of the houses that we were living in, my ex-husband and I and the kids, I was in the basement, and the previous owner left a tin in the rafter of the ceiling. And I was in the basement doing laundry, and I happened to look up, and I'm like, what's that? And I got the step stool, and I grabbed it, and I shook it, and I'm like, oh, is this a button box? So I ran upstairs, and I called the kids over, and I'm like, hey, I dusted it off. It was all dusty and cobwebby. It had been in the rafters in the ceiling of the basement. We had more fun with that button box, with that button tin, going through that. But I did a little bit of research, and the original buttons go back thousands of years as a type of fastener for clothing. And the original buttons were made of wood, animal bone, leather. And I found that very, very interesting. And I thought I would share that with you. I don't have an antique sewing box myself, but when I'm out thrifting, I'm always looking for something like that. But I'm going to show you some that I found on the internet, and they're actually quite lovely. Some of them have just wonderful illustrations on them. Some of them are decorative. They're just absolutely lovely. And you can see where some people, depending on how old they are, they've really taken very good care of them. And then in the next slide, I'm going to show you some examples of some vintage and antique buttons. And like I said, I'm always on the lookout for antique buttons. I haven't found any as yet, But it's one of those things where, you know, I think when you're looking for something, you necessarily don't find it. And when you're not looking for it, that's when you stumble on it. But I'm going to pan the camera down and show you more of what I have in my tin. These are just the standard black and brown. I have one here that's sort of a marble effect with blues. That's a pretty one. It's a big, sort of a pink purple. That's a nice one. That would look pretty on a scarf or a sweater. Got some wooden ones here with multiple holes. That'll look pretty on a scarf or a sweater. There's a big bright red one. Here's more of these little metal ones. Sort of a bronze color, like the color of a copper penny. And here's square. This one's really pretty. Whenever there's a clearance rack for buttons, I'm always on the lookout. Always on the lookout. They're just too much fun. And then of course, these are your standard. I think everybody has these in their button box. The little ones, the little white ones, these little ones are nice to add to decorate, like if you're working on a crazy quilt, or if you're working on like a decorative pillow, that sort of thing, or crafting. They're always nice to have in your box. I think these are pretty much basic. Yeah. Oh, here's a key. You never know what you're gonna find. Here's a flower. That's a pretty one. There's a fabric covered button. That's a pretty one. There's a square. Oh, here's the little pearl ones. Oh my goodness, these are so tiny. Very tiny. I wouldn't want to deal with those. Would not want to deal with those little tiny ones. Purple. Purple. And this one's pretty. So have some fun. Go through your button box. Find some crafts to make with them. Or just clean it out. Here's some string. Or just enjoy going through them and reminiscing. So I just wanted to share that with you. Next time you're, you know, straightening up your sewing room, or you're sewing a loose button on a piece of clothing, there's just something so nostalgic about it. And I just want to share that with you. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. And I will see you soon. I'm Angela Davis. I'm the 4M Quilter. Oh, and remember, why sleep when you can sew?